My name is Kevin Short, pledged at Morgan State Pi Chapter, 1981 Fall.
Morris Deron Robinson, Tail Dog, Beta Mu, number 10, Spring 89, aka Massive. That's the bros call me. So.
Good stuff, brothers. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for having us.
Sure.
Question. Just tell us a little bit about yourselves. Where are your hometowns?
So I'm from Maryland, born Freedman's Hospital, which is now Howard University Hospital. Grew up in Charles County, Maryland. Went to Leslie High School, Morgan State, Curtis for my master's, Juilliard. Spent a lot of time in Europe and I'm back teaching here at the University of Maryland and also at Juilliard in New York.
So I'm born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. I went to a high school of performing arts in Atlanta, and I was in the band and decided that I wanted to play football. So in order to stay at that school, I had to join the chorus. So I joined the chorus in high school. Then I went to the Citadel and played football on scholarship there. Didn't study music, but did a lot of singing around campus. Then I went on to, at the end of a very long story, after corporate America, I ended up joining the Opera Institute at Boston University, did that program for 2 years. Then I got into the Metropolitan Opera apprenticeship program, the Lindemann Young Artist Development Program. I did that for 3 years, and then I got into the real world and started singing professionally. So, yeah.
Nice. Both of you good brothers coming from a sports background. Brother Troy, you wrestling. Brother Robinson, you football. You know, what parallels do you see between the disciplines and the teamwork of athletics and the precision required for this performance that you're doing now?
You go first.
Okay, well, our cardinal principles serve for me as a template for everything that I do professionally. Manhood, it takes a certain degree of autonomy of stepping up to the plate to stand on the stage in front of thousands of people. Scholarship, the preparation that it takes to study the languages and all of the things that go into putting on opera or a concert. Perseverance, to persevere in a very subjective business. It's not like athletics, where you run faster or you do whatever in a very objective manner. This is completely subjective, and somehow we have survived all the slings and arrows. Without a doubt, that's perseverance and resilience and endurance. And Uplift goes without saying.
So we're doing right now.
Yeah.
That was perfectly said, dog. To expound upon that, the basics of manhood, scholarship, perseverance, uplift. You know, Kevin has been uplifting to me since I started this career. He's one of the first brothers, the only bro I met, one of the first brothers I met also in the business. Anytime I take on anything new, the first person I call or text is Kevin Short. And he'll say, you should do that or you shouldn't do that. So that's always been present for me. I'm not sure you had that, but I had it because of you. But the similarities between the two, you talk about athletics versus what we do for a living. Our bodies are our instrument. It takes a lot of discipline to do what we do physically. You have to stay away from certain things, certain activities that, you know, I enjoy with the fraternity. I can't do the recreational things I like to do irresponsibly. I have to always be on point physically. It's just like working out for a game. You have to be in shape. You have to be ready to go. So it's a very demanding business for us physically as well. So we got to keep our voices in fighting trim, you know. We have to always be ready to go. You talked about scholarship, intense scholarship. We're not just people that have voices. We sing in sometimes 7 to 9 different languages. And We're currently singing in Italian right now. My next big piece is in German. I've been practicing that German every day after I do Italian. I'll go home and look at German for like an hour and just start speaking it. He was just singing a French piece in here earlier. It's just a constant, and you never run out of things to learn. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about what we do for a living, and how us being Omegas have prepared us for that, because we're used to being persevering. We're used to the diligence of work. We're used to pursuing scholarship hungrily, and that's what we're doing every day. So, yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful. So that leads into my next question. When did you both realize that your voice was a gift? Wasn't just a gift; it was a calling as well.
I look at the story from whence I've come. I didn't go to music school. I didn't learn the disciplines of the varying styles of music at an early age. I started this at the age of 30. And God obviously gave me a gift. I realized it was a calling, because you can't write my story and make it successful. It doesn't make sense. The math didn't add up. So I knew God had a higher purpose for me. And I know that that's the reason I'm doing what I'm doing, because if it weren't for his involvement, I would not be able to do this. So it is my obligation to the world, to the Lord, to go out and do what I do, because it's, you reach thousands of people. You bring joy to their lives. We serve as inspiration to lots of kids that look like us, that we didn't have preceding us. And I want kids to have that as an option. I want them to look at this as a viable option of what you can do. Not just what we do, but the fact that we can do anything. Omega is a very diverse fraternity. We consist of a lot of different types of brothers. And, this is just another example of how we can do anything within our ranks. So
The correct word you said was calling, and that's exactly what it is. You cannot just like to do this
yeah.
or want to do it. There has to be a calling in order to deal with all the slings and arrows and all the pushback that we receive on a regular basis. I realized that this is something that I needed to do in my junior year at Morgan. I didn't grow up with opera. I grew up singing and playing R&B and soul, and sang the gospel choir. But my voice led me this direction. I had really good mentors at the university that showed me the possibilities. And then once I was able to see what the art form was, then I fell in love with the art form. And now I feel like I'm honoring the gift by singing, and it's my way of giving back. So it's this cathartic kind of activity for me.
Wow. So as Black men commanding the world premiere stages, do you reconcile the traditions of, art form with your mission to broaden the culture and human reach?
I think that's basically what you just said. First of all, commanding top level stages around the globe, as Kevin said, it's a very subjective business. And if you can imagine singing in front of, over here, 3,000 people at the Kennedy Center, I can look out in the audience on a good night when the lighting is allowing me to do so, and I can count the number of faces that look like us on probably one hand.
Right.
So it's not just subjective, but it's also subjective with a brow being turned with the mode of inquisition, if you will. Are they capable? So I personally take it as a mission to go out and prove that, yes, we are capable at the highest level, but also to spread that same thing. Not only am I showing the people that may be naysayers, but also proving to the rest of the world and showing the rest of the world that we are here and we're doing this. We love the art form. I mean, it's amazing storytelling. It's like being in a movie, but it's live, with a better soundtrack. And it's happening right now. So there's very little room for error. And that's where the manhood comes in. You got to be able to stand there and deliver in front of thousands of people without a microphone right now. And it needs to be perfect. It needs to be perfect because they listened to a CD before they got there. So the CD's the result of several takes. We have to be live and do it right. So, yeah, I think there's the purpose, there's a calling, there's the mission. All those things come into one thing when we're presenting to audiences across the world. So,
couldn't say any better.
Rue?
That's perfect. That's perfect. So with your opera career and opera evolving, and you got crossing over things of that nature, how do you have the patience and the endurance and the self-belief to help navigate through this path?
I'm not sure that's the question. Yeah.
Well, how do I navigate?
Okay.
Yeah,
I
pretty
do.
much that. Oh, go ahead.
And sometimes I say this to my student. We all identify the right thing to do. And once that's been identified, you just keep repeating it over and over, and it expands. And I have a goal, but I also make sure that what I do today affects my goal, that I take care of my todays and my tomorrows will fall into place.
Right.
Now, with your work and your students, especially at Juilliard, how do you help encourage your students, especially the men of color, the kids of color that you work with? How do you help them to be able to get to the next level?
That's a good question. Well, the first thing, I think of myself as a dream facilitator. So I'm trying to show young people their possibilities. And a lot of people come with certain baggage. Some people need more encouragement. But I try to speak to each student and give them what they need emotionally. Once I'm able to do that, then it's much easier to give them what they need as it relates to technical prowess and figuring things out and navigating their time as a student. But a lot of people, and I'm sure Morris would agree with me, most folks don't understand or are not able to grasp their own possibilities. And I've never been that way. If I saw someone able to do something, I always thought, why not me?
Right.
And most people aren't built that way, but I was raised differently. My father was frat. My father was my high school principal. And yeah, he was a very significant presence in my life.
Right.
Mind over matter. If you don't mind, it won't matter. That's the first thing I remember my father saying to me.
Dude.
So, talking about your production, and I mean, your brother's singing at a Kennedy Center. That's huge. Right? You know, is this? Do you feel like this is one of the heights of your careers?
Well,
We also sing the Metropolitan Opera. When I'm starting my 34th season at the Metropolitan Opera.
I've been at the Metropolitan Opera since 2001, so I'm in my 25th season at the Metropolitan Opera. I've sung at La Scala. We've sung at every major venue you can possibly think of. I'm not trying to insult your question, but the highlight of this part is I get to sing with him.
Yeah.
I've never sung with him in principal roles before. The first time I met him, he was singing the lead role. I was in the chorus, and now we're singing together in Aida, of all things, one of the grandest of all grand operas. So that's a height. That is absolutely a memory I'm never going to go without. And it's going to be cherished. I got the poster. I'm already going to keep the poster and get it framed because this is our first time working together. There are always heights, and you can't measure one against the other. I'm just as proud to be singing at any venue as long as the Lord has given me an opportunity to sing. But the Kennedy Center, I mean, you probably can't count how many times you've been at Kennedy Center.
Well, I haven't sung there as much, maybe, since I'm from the area.
Yeah. And they like to bring in other people.
Yeah. I did Porgy here. I sang in Carmen here, Magic Flute. I'm singing in Trumanisha, Aida. So there have been enough productions with multiple performances, but
You said I don't sing here much. You just rattled off like 7 productions. But I digress. So I did my first Beethoven Ninth here at the Kennedy Center with the National Symphony Orchestra. I did Verdi Requiem there. I did Stravinsky's Renard there. I did lots of things with the symphony, and on the operatic side, I did Don Giovanni and Turandot and Magic Flute and two Aidas and what else did I do there? We've been around. We've done a lot of things here. We're very honored to be here. Even in its controversial state at this point, I think it makes a better statement that despite all the changes that are going on there, we're still standing firm in what we do and representing the art and trying to bring the best quality art, top world-class level art to the community. So,
Good form.
yeah.
You spoke about
Right.
music as a vehicle for truth and transformation. So how do you view your artistry as part of a broader cultural dialogue about representing diversity and the authenticity in the classical music?
You want to take the verse of your art?
Well, sure, you can piggyback. But when they see us,
There we go.
you know, that's the first thing.
Yeah, first thing.
You're talking about what has traditionally been a very niche art form, and an art form that I think for a lot of people like us, young folks have thought, well, that's for the other folks.
Mm-hmm.
But when they see us, immediately, especially if they have a gift, oh, that's a possibility. I went to the opera, or I see that Morris Robinson is singing.
Mm-hmm. You know, yeah, the us being present alone is diversity being displayed. In this particular show, on alternating nights, we have a black Amneris, a black king, a black Ramphis, and a black Aida. But the Aida and Amneris are not on the same nights. The baritone is from China, you know, so it's there, you know. But there again goes the responsibility, I believe, to carry that torch. You know, we're omegas. Like, we rise to the top of everything we do. You know, it's just like, that's how it is. And this is no different. You know, this is no different. We came, we divided, we conquer, and we stay at the top of the game. And you've been singing, what, 40 years, you said?
Mm-hmm.
I'm at year 26, 27. And we're still here. We're still singing at the Kennedy Center after, you know, between us, all those years of being on these stages. So it means a lot for us to be able to do that and show there's what we represent for us and serving as a beacon of light. There's also what we represent in the industry to show that we're capable, and we're capable of being here this long at this high of a level. We're not taking it for granted. We've earned it. We have to continue to earn it, but we're very, very cognizant of the fact that this is not something easy to do, and we've been able to navigate this for a long time. So, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So as a
I
woman,
can step on you, do.
No. I was going to say that's
I thought you handed
perfect.
it off. Okay.
No. It's.
I thought you handed the rock off. I thought he was done and said, your turn. So,
No, it's one thing to do something well for 5 years,
Right.
10 years,
right.
but when you talk about 20 or 30 plus years in a very subjective art form,
Bruh.
it takes characteristics and tenacity and perseverance that goes above and beyond.
and with you brothers being a mega man and persevering, do you feel as if the different cultures are accepting you more? Just being, as long as you've been singing in this field, do you feel as if there's still a little, turbulence, a little hesitation, or you're more accepted?
I mean, they got to be acceptance at this point. Like,
Oh, yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's just, but
That's a good question.
it's a good question, yeah.
The way art form is produced, the way opera is produced in this country is very traditional, often like museum pieces. When you think about when some of these operas were composed in the 19th, 18th, and 17th century, these characters did look like us. So if they're going to do an opera, The Flying Dutchman, in a traditional way, and there are posters here with me singing Dutchman 3 or 4 years, their instinct is to look for that 6'4" blonde-haired, blue-eyed Dutchman. So how does Kevin Short, or how does Morris Robinson in some of these roles, how do we get into those spaces. Our talent and what we bring to the table has to be so beyond
Preach.
that, and so undeniable that they have to let us in. It's somewhat easier in Europe, which is why traditionally a lot of Black musicians and dancers have gone to Europe. It's still because they sort of turn opera over on its ear and they don't present operas as museum pieces as much as they do here in the States. So maybe The Flying Dutchman looks like a Dutchman in 2025 as opposed to 1875. So I moved to Europe for this very reason, because I wanted to go where things weren't as traditional, where my color wasn't as much of a hindrance. But there's still issues over there. I mean, there was a production where two Black singers were proposed for an opera, and the director said, I can't have two Black singers because then it becomes a Black opera.
Oh, wow.
So, and this was in Europe, in Switzerland, actually. So there are issues. So that's what I mean when I've referenced the perseverance it takes to make this happen year after year for 20, 30, 40 years when you're up against that kind of thing.
And that's the stuff you don't see. You know, I mean, it's always stuff behind the background that you can't really fathom what types of decisions go into hiring different singers. But for us to have been there this long, we have had to, this ain't bragging, this is the truth. He has had to, I have had to perform at a level that surpassed the imagination of those that are listening. The preconceived notion of those that were listening. They have to go, they walk into the house expecting one thing, and then we go out and do it. But they have to, it has to be such a great level that they forget that a Black guy is singing Rumpus. They just think that this guy is singing Rumpus, and he's doing a really great job of it. So yeah. That's key. Yeah.
So good, brothers. Again, I thank you for this time. One last question. Again, as a Mega Man and your legacy, I mean, you guys define a strong legacy. What do you want the brothers to take away from this?
I'll go first, since she's going to give me a very philosophical answer. So
No.
Put the exclamation point on it. So I'm going to give you my superficial version of it is that, you know, we're Omegas. And as I said before, we rise to the top of everything that we do. I just want the brothers to understand that we too do this. And we are carrying the name of Omega to the top of the opera world. And we plan on continuing to do so in the highest level of art form that we can, representing what we both represent. And that's the brothers of Omega Sapphire. Yeah.
Omega Sapphire has provided the ultimate template. Says lean on the Cardinals.
There you go.
It'll be the guide. Is this what an Omega man would do in any given situation? That's what we've done. Whether we are literally thinking about it or not in any given scenario.
Just happened.
Yeah.
Because it's in us.
It's in us.
You know.
We are Omega. It's in. You know, it's like what Kennedy said. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Yeah. That's what it is.
We represent it without even subconsciously. We subconsciously represent it without thinking about it. Yeah. Because that's what we are. We're also 80s bros, so it's in us deep, man.
When we say our last goodbye, we'll love Omega Psi.
How y'all doing today?
My ear, dog. You loud, bro. It's pot calling the color black. Either way. Yeah.